Welcome to Playoff Football. This is the Okanagan Sun Coaches Show with Jason Casey and Ryan Waters.
The Sun are making their 30th straight appearance in the BCFC postseason. They are the second seed and will host the third-seeded Langley Rams on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Their two regular season matchups were certainly memorable. Back on August 5th in the home opener at the Apple Bowl, 42 points were scored in the final quarter as the Sun escaped with a 33-23 win. The very next weekend, the Sun squeaked out a 15-14 victory in Langley. The Sun are coming off a disappointing loss to the Raiders in the regular season finale last weekend at the Apple Bowl. And head coach Jason Casey has had a chance to review the film and gives us his impressions on the loss.
I'm still disappointed in the outcome, obviously. Our performance wasn't up to snuff, but after watching film, it was just some minor hiccups that we allowed the Raiders to take advantage of. And when you're playing a high-caliber team like the Raiders, they're so well-coached and so talented, they're able to take advantage of that. So I think it just, during the game, it felt, to me, it was a lot worse. But after watching the film, they're all, again, things that are fixable. And, you know, they're a high-caliber opponent. So, obviously, when you're going to shoot yourself in the foot against a team that's, you know, the best offense in the country, they've got studs on defense, they're going to capitalize.
How have the players reacted to that disappointing loss?
Watching film with them, I guess they learned a lot from it. I don't think they're dwelling on it. I mean, shoot, we're 8-2. It's, you know, I guess there's probably a lot more happier 8-2 teams on Sunday. That being said, you know, we're in the playoffs. You know, we live to play another day, and, you know, we'll get down to business and win one game at a time.
Yeah, no waste of timing now because you have the playoffs, as you mentioned. The Langley Rams coming to town on Sunday. How different do they look compared to week 2 and 3?
Probably night and day. Alamahota's a hell of a coach, so they're only going to get better each and every week. And now that we're going into week 12 with the bye week, they're going to be better than when we faced them week 2 and 3, but so are we. Our offense is head and shoulders above where we were at that point. Our defense is head and shoulders above. Our return game is 10 times better. Our kicking game is improving every single day. So as much as I'm expecting them to be so much more the team they were in 2 and 3, they better be prepared for us because we're so much better than we were then.
You always need to know where Nick Downey is on the field. How do you defend him?
I don't know yet. Yeah, he's a stud. The guy can do anything. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's a hell of a returner. So we will know where number 6 is at all times. Are we going to waste our entire defensive scheme just on him? Probably not. Albertini's a hell of a running back. They've got big, mean guys on their O-line and D-line. They've got other receivers that can catch those 7, 10, 15-yard balls that can keep chains moving and keep the ball in their hands. So they're a complete football team. You know, I would still say them and West Shore are probably better than the 5-5 records they have. So we will be ready for a heck of a matchup against them.
They've had some quarterback issues as of late. Brendan Lay, their starter all the season, hasn't started the last 2 games. They've had their backup in. Who are you preparing for?
We'll prepare for both. It won't matter to us who's at quarterback. We'll know exactly the 2 styles that those guys will be running. But again, you know, in a situation like that, you know, throw a 5-yard screen to Downey or just hand the ball off to Albertini, right? So we have to be ready with their entire, what we feel they'll do as a game plan from their offense, and we'll scheme for that.
What do you need to do to get the confidence back in this football team in the game, during the game, not during the week of practice, but in the game, the first quarter?
It's basketball football, offense and defense, special teams. Just go north-south, ram the football down our opponent's throat every chance we get, keep the ball in our offense's hands, keep them on the field as much as possible. We'll have to win the field, and that's defense and special teams. So we'll have to play a perfect game. We want to play a perfect game, and the guys will be ready for a perfect game.
The Rams clinched 3rd place in the conference last week with a convincing 42-14 win on the road in West Shore last weekend. They are a team that is flying high right now with some of the most dynamic players in all of Canadian junior football. Head coach Jeff Alamahota explains the importance of the convincing win last weekend heading into the postseason.
Well, I think it was important to get the win. I think for our club, for our team, the way that we came out and played was really important for us to understand that every play, every minute, every game is really important in this conference. And in order for us to be successful, we need to take every game very seriously. So I think it was real good for us. I think it was a good, showing on us on Saturday there. But we know we got a lot of work ahead of us and moving forward.
When people say the Rams are way better than their 5-5 record, how would you respond?
I would say not really. You know, our 5-5 record shows exactly what we did this year. I think that at times we played well, and at times we took games off or we took plays off, and I think that was indicative to how young we are and how inexperienced we are at some spots. So, I think that really, the 5-5 record really shows where we were at as a football team. Now, I think that we have improved since then. I think we've gotten much better throughout the season. We've improved week to week. But I wouldn't go ahead and say that we're extremely better.
4 defensive players were named to the All-Star team, the BCFC All-Star team. Is that indicative of your season? Yes, you have some young players, but you certainly have been strong on defense.
They've had outstanding seasons. They played super hard. The one thing I can say about all those guys is they're here every day, every night, working super hard in the film room, on the practice field. So their work and the amount of work that they put into the season paid off for them. And really it showed on the field when come game days, where they showcased their abilities, very, very easily. And they went out there and played great football for us. And those are the type of leaders and the type of people that we want to have on our squad, the guys that are going to come in here, work real hard, and then put it on the game field when it comes time to count, So I think those guys, as well as the defense, played pretty well, but I think that they know, as well as the whole team knows, that we got a lot of work ahead of us moving forward here.
Well, you face the Okanagan Sun moving forward on Sunday in the playoffs. You haven't seen them since week 3. When you watch film, how different do they look?
Well, obviously, they look a lot different offensively, scheme-wise, what they came out with at the beginning of the year. We know they changed their coordinator halfway through the year there, and we see him doing a lot of different things with their squad. Very well coached. They know exactly where to attack on defenses, and that teams need to be on their toes when they're playing them. So we have our work cut out for us on the defensive side of the ball, and then offensively, for us, they always have a strong defense. Their front 7 is very good. Their D-line is always powerhouse. And we got to try and make sure we work on that and do some things that are going to prevent us from being unsuccessful on that side of the ball. I think, they pose a real big challenge for us, the Sun do. And I think if we got to come out, we got to work hard at practice, which we have been. We've been having a few good days of practice here. But, really it's going to be a challenge to us. And I think, that's what I've been telling the boys. It's a challenge, and we'll see if we're up to it for the weekend.
It's a unique situation, as both yourself and head coach of the Sun, Jason Casey, both head coaches in their first playoff game as a head coach in the BCFC. Does that come into play at all? Is that extra exciting?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to come to play. I think for myself, I've learned a lot throughout this season, especially, during games and exactly what's going on. So I know that being at the first playoff game there as a head coach, I'm sure there's going to be mistakes made, but, I'm pretty positive that we'll be able to, withstand those mistakes and fight hard as long as we do it as a team and we stick together. We can't start crumbling. We can't start pointing fingers during the game at all. We just need to come together, play as a team, play as 12 men on the field at once, and see where the chips may fall. As the road team, what do you need to do early? Well, taking the crowd out of it's obviously, Apple Bowl, the environment up there, the atmosphere. It's great. As a football fan, you look at that stadium, you look at those fans, and you say, wow, that's exactly kind of what you want. That's the epitome of what you want in terms of an environment and atmosphere. So us coming in there, we're going to make sure that, that can't get to us. We can't let those guys get to us. We can't let the fans get to us. We got to just focus on us, focus on our game plan, and just kind of put that out of our minds and move forward. And I think the guys are ready and willing to do that. It's the BCFC playoffs this weekend. Don't miss the Sun and Rams at the Apple Bowl Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Until next time, I'm Ryan Waters.